Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are covering kinetics in our H2 Chem, Practice, Chem Practical Advice series. And yeah, let's start. So, like I mentioned in the previous video, energetics and kinetics can be lumped together in an experiment, but kinetics can also be done without energetics. So, let me just there are a bunch of different kinds of kinetics experiments. For example, the like what you get in the iodine clock reaction, which involves the timing, and or maybe you might have to do something like what I mentioned in the titration video, the sampling thing, which involves like the optimal like the amount that's been reacted so far, and of course we involve in energetics when we talk about temperature. And other experiments involve collecting a lot of CO2, which the volume of CO2 will be involved as the main measurement, and so on and so forth. So yeah, as with energetics, there's a lot of data to collect, since you just heard all the different types. No matter what it is, you need to write down a lot of numbers. So before you even start with the experiment, you will know that you need to add many different reagents and ensure that the volume is the same for each and every experiment. So like the total volume, not the individual volumes. So for that, you must definitely draw the table, because it helps a lot. It really simplifies things a lot. So draw down the table, write down all the volumes for each experiment beforehand, and that will make things so much easier for you. So what about those reagents that you don't need to write in the table? There might be actually be reagents like that which you had to read the instructions really carefully. There are definitely some extra stuff that you might need to add in sometimes. So like for example, in the iodine clock reaction, if maybe you need to add in the starch indicator or something, there'll be some reagent that isn't involved in this experiment in terms of measuring its order of reaction with reference to that substance. So if you're the kind who sometimes forgets to put that thing in, and then you end up not doing it for the entire experiment, you don't want to end up in that situation where you need to redo it just because you forgot one thing. So if you want to avoid this situation, you should make a note in a pencil next to the table maybe, or you can just keep that bottle of that reagent with the other reagents outside the basket and keep everything else inside so that it's nice and organized. So more on organization. My preferred way of organizing things is, you know, you have the reagent, then you have the measuring cylinder, and you have the droppers. So for the reagents, you can keep them in front of the basket in a nice line, and keep the measuring cylinders in front of each of the reagents so that you don't accidentally use the wrong measuring cylinder for that reagent and then contaminate it, because oftentimes there will be like two different measuring cylinders that look exactly the same except for the thing that you're using to, like, the thing you're measuring with the measuring cylinder. So if you don't want it to react beforehand, you would want to use the same measuring cylinder again and again. So in order to make things easy, just put them in front of the reagents, and every time you use it, you keep it back in that same position. So for the droppers, because sometimes when you measure, you need the droppers to remove some extra stuff or add in just a few more drops. You can keep them, you can balance them on top of the measuring cylinders using the basket hold, or you can just put them into the measuring cylinder if it's empty. So this will help you prevent contamination. It will also help you save a lot of time, because you don't need to search for the reagent or the measuring cylinder, or for anything in fact, because everything is in front of you. It's nice and organized. This is one place where even the messy people need to be organized. So yeah, this will help you save a lot of time, because as I told you in many videos, um, time is of essence. You do not want to be wasting your time. So like with everything else, you only have like 20 or to 30 minutes max to do this, so you don't really want to spend so much time just collecting all your results. And speaking of collecting results, after that you would need to do something called calculations. So we of course the raw data, like for example the 1 over time, like the thing that you calculate from the raw data, this gives you a value proportional to rate, I guess, but that's not enough. You need to manipulate it further, you need to do more calculations. So for in order to do that, actually they will ask you sub questions to help you, to guide you a little bit along, but you should be aware of the theory in order to navigate that section quickly and efficiently. So that also saves some time. So sometimes maybe you're waiting for something else to happen, your QA needs to filter through or something. You can in the meantime draw the table for this, write down the maybe the state, some of the workings that you can use beforehand, so that later on you can just plug in the numbers and then quickly go through the entire set of questions with your calculator in hand. So yeah, that's the important thing, is to be aware of the theory in terms of kinetics and even for energetics. So well, I don't really think I have anything else to say, but if you guys have any other questions or anything else you want me to mention, you can comment it below and I may mention it in a video 4.5. Or since no one has really commented on any of the previous videos, I'll probably just ask somewhere in Reddit and make a Q&A or something. But anyways, the next video will be about planning, the planning section in the practical, because all this while I've been talking about what you do with your hand, like with the apparatus, but now you have to write down something. So I'm gonna talk about that in the next video. And the final video of the main stuff in the series is going to be the entire practical, the process. And after that will be the Q&A if people actually ask me questions. So yeah, as with everything, yeah, please, if you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can contact me in the comment section below or in Reddit with my Reddit username written there. Yeah. Okay, thank you and bye.